Listened to and viewed in more than 95 countries around the world. I'm your host, Conan Bruce. Joining me is Tyler McQueen, and we are the Gritcast. Hey guys, welcome to episode 49. Are you guys following us on all the social media? Because if you're not, you should. Hey, and make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes and on YouTube. So what's going on in the world of grit? Well, if we're talking about the pro side of things, it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on at all publicly. But behind the scenes, the MPGL is working on the 2016 match schedule. Once you get the match schedule, you can back it up a little bit, right? You can do things like free agency. So teams will be able to release athletes to make room for other athletes that they may be looking for. Other teams can pick up those athletes. Somewhere in there, you're going to have a combine or maybe some pro days like they did last year. There could be one or several, and after that, you're going to have the draft. The teams will basically form, get their final rosters, and then you'll see the season starts. And I know most of you out there that at least listen to this show have been pounding us for information, right? We don't know anything more than you guys do, but I tell you what, we're super ready for the info too, and as soon as the MPGL releases that info, we'll get you all the details. So let's talk about this week's guests. We're excited to bring you Berger and Andrea Ager from the New York Rhinos. We went up to New York and caught up with them while they were training for Team Dynamix. If you didn't get a chance to check out episode 47, we actually sat down, that's a couple episodes ago, we sat down and talked to Justin Kotler, who is the coach for Team Dynamix, and we talked about the whole team. So if you didn't catch that, go back and check that out in episode 47. So let's get on with the show. We hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please let us know on social media.
We love to lift, laugh, and improve. This is Björk, Odin's daughter.
All right, guys, welcome to this week's show. We have Berger from the New York Rhinos.
Yep.
So we're up here in New York. Ian is actually in the middle of training, so he was nice enough to take a break and come in and hang out with us for a minute. So, Ian, now you're the general manager of the Rhinos, but you started out as the coach the first season, right?
Yep.
So how was that transition going from coach to general manager?
It's been an interesting transition. As a GM, I'm a lot more behind the scenes. As a coach, I'm a lot more hands-on. It's taken a lot of learning. The first season was a learning curve as coach and GM as well because it's a new role for me. Trusting my coaches, trusting my staff, making sure that I trust them and I put them in those positions for the reason that they're going to do a good job.
Right. What do you see the role as general manager on a team like this?
I see my role as overseeing the coaches, making sure that my staff is doing what they're supposed to do, and that includes winning, making sure my athletes are happy, making sure I have the athletes I need to win or think that I need to win, and dealing with everything from contracts to the logistics of training and hotel stay.
Right. Now that's not the fun stuff.
No, not
right?
so much.
I don't think many people realize, unless you've ever been on a sports team or like helped with a sports team, the logistics required in moving, like, what do you think it is, 20 people total? Like everybody, the whole package. How many people?
So it's probably close to 24 people.
Wow.
It's a headache,
yeah.
You know, because the athletes are there to just train, you know, and I just want to make sure that they're in an atmosphere where that's all they have to focus on, and taking care of all the details from who they're rooming with to ensuring that they're on a tight schedule and there's no thinking besides training going on.
Right. So leading up to like a match, how far out do you have to start planning to because you guys usually do like a little training camp, a mini training camp at least, right, before you do a match?
Probably takes about a month to 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, the biggest piece is travel, you know. I wish everybody was in New York and training full-time here and living here, but I have people from all across the world. So
Literally. Where does your new coach or your current coach?
Frederick is currently residing in Iceland.
Yeah.
We have Nora, who's from Argentina. So
It's a 40-plus athlete, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
and a really good one.
She is a monster.
Yeah, so you're literally like a global team. Right?
Yes.
All over the place. I mean, it's probably just not realistic, though, at this point in the sports, phase of growth to have everybody living in the same place.
Yeah. I don't think that there's enough athletes concentrated in one area at the moment to make it regional. And also, every team has different needs, different wants, and also different culture.
Mm-hmm.
So for the time being, until they can make enough money to reside where they're playing, I think it's really dependent on where they want to be.
What do you think's been the best way to scout players?
Interesting enough, I think pro days have been really interesting, but the amount of Facebook messages I get or emails with people's videos and just highlighting what they could do
Mm-hmm.
is really helpful. The Grid Invitational was a really good way to seek out new athletes, all the amateur leagues.
Mm-hmm.
But social media has been really helpful in finding hidden gems.
Because you can access it 24/7.
Always.
So one of the things I always ask a coach or a GM if we have them on the show is, like, if I'm one of those athletes out there trying to get recognized, like, give me your top 2 things that you would tell that person, like, here's what you got to, either it's a training advice or, like, how to get noticed, how to promote yourself.
I think don't be shy. I think a lot of people think that if they reach out to myself or reach out to any other teams, they're coming across as needy or cocky if it's promoting yourself. But self-promotion, you need to do it, because if you don't do it, who else is going to do it for you, right?
Right. Let's back up a little bit and talk about like your personal background and how you kind of evolved. A 5-time regional athlete, got CrossFit Games regional athlete. So you've definitely been around the block as an athlete already before you start going down this path.
Yep.
So where did you start, and how did all that? Let's start at the beginning.
I was playing college soccer and didn't really like it so much. Had a quick stint of soccer overseas. Was not too good.
It's a tough life.
It was, as an 18, 19-year-old, it was probably not too healthy for me. But I found CrossFit while I was over there, and I ended up opening my first affiliate when my family opened the affiliate when I was 19 years old.
Is that O-side?
That was O-side. So my mom and my dad opened that affiliate, and I got to help run a gym from 19 to 24. So interesting story.
Yeah.
Contingent on staying home and not playing soccer. My mom, I did not want to go to college. I was like,
just wasn't for you.
Yeah, I was like, why do I need to go to college? She refused. She was like, no, you're going to college and you're going to apply to all these schools. So I applied to all like the local community colleges, and
right.
She made me apply to NYU, a sports management program that like 8,000 applicants, 500 get in.
Right.
And I was 100% sure I wasn't getting in. I got in.
But you did.
I got in. And running a gym at 19 and going to a school like that and trying to be a CrossFit athlete was just, I learned.
Demanding?
Yes, it was very demanding. I learned to grow up pretty quickly from it. But in the midst of all that, training and trying to be a regional athlete, I met the people that own the Rhinos and eventually got that opportunity, which is pretty cool.
So it was probably from your larger network of knowing all these folks. And then, so how did you first hear about grid as a sport?
First heard about grid, I had no idea about grid, actually. I was working with Rhino and Nathan Forrester, who's a mentor of mine, and he's done incredible stuff in the functional fitness
and
world.
Rhino, for our listeners and viewers, it's a pretty large company. It owns a lot of different gyms and a lot of fitness, and it's huge in the fitness industry.
Yep.
Yeah.
I started working at one of the gyms, and he always told me that there'd be a bigger opportunity. He came to me on a Friday, and I think it was end of February. He's like, "Hey, we just bought this grid team. Do you want to be the coach, GM?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, you bought this team? Like, what?" He's like, "I need an answer by Monday." And I was like, Monday? Like, you just asked me today. I don't even know what this is. So we went through it.
And at the time, it wasn't even really called Grid then, right?
No, it wasn't.
National Pro Fitness League.
Yes. The more research I did on it, it was really exciting to be at the forefront of it. And I think the best way he described it was, you'll be getting to do fantasy sports with functional fitness athletes.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm in.
Yep. He's like, you have a sports management degree, you'll get to use it. I'm like, cool, I'm in. Just tell me what I have to do. And yeah, that's how I got set up with Grid.
Well, nice. Well, so let's talk about last season. I think a lot of people underestimated the New York Rhinos. Just putting it out there. We were following the athletes. We had our rankings on the Gridcast, and other people had their rankings, and they didn't rank you guys so well. But you came back and proved them wrong. The first match out in San Jose, you guys played Baltimore. Was it? Yeah, it was in San Jose.
Yep.
So you guys play Baltimore, and Baltimore on paper looks like a powerhouse, right? So you come into it. How did you guys feel coming into it? Were you confident?
I was the most confident I've ever been going into a match.
And you actually coached that match.
I did.
Because Frederick was visa issues or something, right? Yeah. So he couldn't make it over. So you coached that match, and what do you think was the factor there, that winning factor?
Experience. I mean, that was Garrett's first time coaching. That was the athlete's first time working on the grid. I mean, experience is invaluable. You can't teach that.
Right. So you guys go on to the next match. You have a match against Boston, which you guys lost. We'll come back to that in a minute. The match that I think really, like, all through the Grid fan base really paid attention to that year was New York DC. I mean, that was the first time DC ever got their bell rung.
Yep.
And you guys rung the hell out of it.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that match.
We just came off a loss to Boston. And frankly, not to take anything away from Boston because they did incredible this year, we really underestimated them. We went in just thinking we're gonna walk all over them and we're gonna play with our lineup, and this is just gonna be a test to see where everybody's at. Nothing beyond that. So when we lost, we were fired up.
Yeah, I think Boston came in with something to prove.
Yes.
Maybe you guys had hit a little steady state, maybe.
For sure. But going into that DC match, all we wanted to do was dethrone them, and our athletes worked extremely hard leading up to that match, and I think we did a really good job of strategizing and just putting people in the right places to potentially win. It really just came down to that last race, and
it was all that last race.
Bonus flag on a ladder.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but you guys had them neck and neck all the way to race 11. I mean, if Tim Paulson maybe had not been able to pull off what he did, it would have ended up a lot different.
Yeah.
And I think Coach Kotler would probably fully admit it, which I think in the last show that we did, he actually talked about it. Like it was definitely a game changer for Tim, but then also you guys had him on the ropes.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a moment that showed that the champions were vulnerable. And I think it just showed our true capabilities as a team and what to expect from next coming seasons. That's
what we're going to talk about next. So we're getting ready to come up and, by the time this show comes out, free agency is probably going on. Coming into the draft season, the regular season will come a little later. What are the New York Rhinos doing right now to kind of prepare for the 2016, and what do you think it's going to look like?
We are keeping our core group. I'm extremely confident with them, and I'm extremely confident with our captains, Easy and Rachel. Might look to fill some of those voids that we might have on the team, but besides that, I mean, our team is going to look pretty similar to last year. I don't know what's going to happen in free agency, but if someone comes along that we feel could make an addition to the team, that's huge. For us, the biggest piece is just chemistry, and culture.
Consistency. I mean, having the same team is obviously very helpful.
Yes.
Because you don't have to get that new blood in there and kind of feel that out, right?
Yeah, and you don't know how people are going to mold. You don't know how they're going to mesh and how they're going to get along. And I think the biggest piece of team is just aligning goals and being able to get along. You're spending a lot of time with these people. If you don't get along, why are you pushing hard to win for the person next to you? You're probably not. So...
Yeah, I think it's different, especially as an athlete, if you've never played team sports. And then, a lot of functional fitness athletes, not a lot, but quite a few have not played team sports. They come in and you're kind of an individual competitor.
Yes.
and then you get put into this situation. It's tough. So we're going to hear from an athlete on the New York Rhinos. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have Andrea Ager, the Ager Bomb, is going to join us. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back, and here with us is Andrea Ager from the New York Rhinos, Ian Berger from the New York Rhinos. Whoop. Silence. I know it's the first time I think I've ever heard you be silent. No,
hey, guys, what's up?
Good. It's good to have you. Hey, so last time we talked to you, Andrea, actually Danny talked to you at Faith RX. It was episode 26, I believe. Go check that one out. And it was last June, so it's been a while. What have you been up to?
It has been a while. I mean, come on, 6 months. A lot has changed.
Crazy.
We were getting ready to go into the grid season, and you guys were at the Faith RX event, and that was the last one we've had. Our next one is in February, so getting amped up for that one, too.
Got a date for that in February?
It's February 12th through 14th, so over Valentine's
Day.
Yeah, so bring your Valentine. Come on in. Come join us in Costa Mesa.
Nice.
And we have moved across the country.
I was waiting for this one.
I moved from Denver, Colorado, all the way over here to the East Coast, living in Queens. Just got my first apartment.
Wow.
That's always kind of exciting. I had to deal with some slimy New York brokers. That was gross.
Oh. I don't know what it's like to live in Queens, but you guys give me an idea. You don't live in Queens, so you're on Long Island or something?
But I did deal with a lot of brokers. I'm trying to find an apartment too.
Oh, yeah, so you can be near the gym.
It's a nightmare. It's almost like they don't want to sell
We're going to get into a
apartments.
little bit deeper why they're here in Queens in a minute. But, yeah, that's got to be kind of crazy. I couldn't even imagine trying to find an apartment here.
I mean, some are like, just like holes in the wall, literally. And they're like, hey, you got cash? Can you sign in today? Like, we can move you in tomorrow. I'm like, okay, it smells like paint in here. And you're probably going to kill me. I'm pretty think I'm going to wait on it. It'll be gone by tomorrow. I believe you, but I don't know if I should move in tomorrow.
When you're in New York, always look down below your feet and make sure there's no plastic. You're not standing on plastic.
Really?
They might wrap you up in it. It's like it's a gangster thing. All right, so been busy moving. Any other competitions you've been in lately?
Well, I'm getting ready for Wadapalooza.
I was going to say that's coming up like this weekend.
Week. Yeah, so that's kind of my first time back competing since grid season. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I've always competed individual and really focused on training individual as well. But the last few weeks we've been here, been training with a bunch of teammates that are awesome training partners. And I've actually never worked with a coach in-house every single day. I've usually done programming online. Or
virtual coach?
Like kind of like more of a do it on your own, get it done throughout the day. There's no time schedule. You don't have to be anywhere at a certain place. It's like get it done on your schedule. And so now it's, Justin's here. He's watching everything. So I've gotten so much more hands-on, and I've actually had to work on my weaknesses like 5 times as much this week than I ever have before. Wow. So I'm like, all right, well.
Because that's what a coach makes you do.
Yeah. I'm very vulnerable today, guys. Working on everything I hate. Welcome to the club,
I mean, did you think it's going to help, though?
Absolutely. I mean, just even being accountable on how long we're training, the effort we put in. I mean, we're not competing against each other at practice. The cool thing is that we're competing for each other.
Right.
And so we're looking across the, squat rack at each other going, hey, I want you to get this because someday you're going to have to do it against someone else, and I want you to be ready.
I think the coolest part of teams is that you see crazy things go on. Like people do things they can't normally do by themselves, because when you're put in an atmosphere and it's like you just saw someone do it, you're like, I better do that. Like you don't want to let that person down. Like I think one of the coolest things I've ever seen in training is we were going for a 1-rep max thruster, and all the boys are hitting like big numbers. Like I'm talking about but easy. This was first season, so easy. Matt Frazier, like all the big boys. Yeah. Like a 275 or above. And Irving steps up to the bar at 275 and does it easily. And we're all like, Irving, that was incredible. He goes, yeah, it's a PR. I'm like,
that's all he says.
What? Yeah, he just he finishes it and he's just like,
that's a PR.
That's a PR. I was like, it's incredible.
Well, it pushes you, right? I mean, you're and you want to perform for each other, which is very different than competing against each other. I don't think a lot of people, again, we talked about this in the last, before the break, we talked about how if you've never been on a team, you don't understand what that drive is like.
No.
When it's like, and I spent my entire life, 25 years in the military and law enforcement, and people wonder why you do the things you do. Mm-hmm. It's the team thing. You're almost, this is maybe a little over dramatic, but you're willing to die for the person next to you.
100% true.
Like you're going to give everything, right?
Yeah, and I think in an individual setting, I think it's human nature that you're a little bit more susceptible to let yourself down versus let your peers or someone you care about down. So.
And you can be selfish for yourself.
Yeah, like there was, even in training now, it's like there's times where I'm like, I don't want to do this, or like this really hurts. But I'm like, I look at the person next to me, I'm like, I got to do it for them too. Like not just me. Like it's really cool.
So both of you guys, individual CrossFit competitors, working together on New York Rhinos, though now you're coming back to as a team, Team Dynamix, by the way. What is it, at Team Dynamix?
At Team Dynamix 2016.
There you
Instagram. Go. Follow us.
We want to get to 10,000 by the end of the day.
Yep, that's the goal. We need about 9,000 people to follow us.
So
small details.
How do you guys straddle? How do you guys balance all this? Like you're in the grid world, and I know it's all functional fitness. It's different. Mm-hmm. It's very different domains, very different training, very different sports. How do you guys balance all this?
I love both. I mean, they're both totally different seasons of the year for me. So when I'm focused on CrossFit, I'm definitely trying to be more well-rounded, work on my strengths and my weaknesses, and not going for 30-second time intervals. Right. Those really strain my body, honestly. Like I'm an endurance athlete, and actually so is Ian. So that first sprint across the room, do this 6 times as fast as possible, run over to the rings, do 5 muscle-ups, and run back. It's like that is exciting and it's good, and that intensity has helped me grow in so much of my little technique issues and my little, sometimes I'm afraid to go all out because I'm afraid of hitting failure on the grid. You're not afraid of that. You're just like, go crazy mode.
Go.
Tap into that crazy source of energy that you have to have at the last minute. I mean, it's just it's really exciting, really go. And then with CrossFit, it's like, all right, let's be smart about this. Let's be efficient. Let's tap into what's the best way to approach this? What's the smartest way? Kind of what are my teammates going to do? How am I going to react to what they're going to do? And it's really cool throughout the year to go and focus on all these different parts of fitness to hopefully put it together and be a better athlete altogether. And for me personally, this season, Amy Dracup, we've met a week ago, and we've been training as a team. And so her and I are always on a bar together when we train, and we do maxes or even just percentage work. And Becca is on a bar by herself. We're talking at first, on our first day, we all looked at each other. I was holding the bar. I'm like, Becca, should we all 3 work up or? And then we all looked at each other like, yeah, just get your own bar. What are we thinking? We're going to have to change the weight so many times. But it's cool with Amy because she's an incredible athlete. CrossFit Games competitor, 4 different years individual, and 7-time regional competitor. And all of her maxes are about 5 to 10 pounds more than mine or the exact same. Right. So we're going off the same percentages. And I'm like, okay,
pushing you.
If Amy can do it, I can do it. And it's so fun. It really does push me so hard to just, I'm used to male training partners. Sure. And they have their own bars and they're doing their own thing, and I go and they go and I go, and this is just different sharing a bar with somebody.
For sure.
What's it like to share a bar with Christian Harris? Or Dave Charbonneau. He nailed 300-pound snatch the other day.
I'm definitely the more endurance guy of the team, I guess you could say.
Yeah. You hold your own.
Generalist, but
he's got a pain threshold that's next to none. Let's keep that in mind.
So sharing a bar with Christian, I better lift some weight, right? He's forced me I'm like, I'll try to stay with him, but his percentages are so much higher than me. And the other day we were doing 3-position cleans, and we had to go up to 80%. And just staying with him, I was at 99% of my one. I ended up PRing my 3-position clean because I had to.
Because he's working at 80%.
Yeah, but you know what? It's cool because I never would do that if he wasn't there next to me.
And Christian doesn't make him do anything.
No.
Because he's actually very quiet and very
right.
I thought he was going to be this wild personality because I'm like, okay, you must have to be super, super bold and nuts if you can, clean and jerk 395, 400 pounds. So, and then I got to know him, and I'm like, actually, he's really humble, pretty modest, takes coaching cues very well, and is actually pretty pretty quiet. And I mean, when he hits a lift, he's pumped he hit a lift,
Right.
you know. But he's
But
not
all
like,
three guys-
Ian, you got to do this. He's like, all right,
No,
guys,
all three of you guys are pretty chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
They
low key,
are.
Yeah.
very unassuming, which is great because they
Yeah.
don't know what's coming.
No,
right?
it's
Dave is like Mr. like class clown, like
Yeah.
joking around, making nicknames for everybody, just being crazy. Like he's gained
But
to know
that's
him
in
as
but
being
that's in
nuts,
your
too.
team though.
Yes.
If you meet Dave like in any other kind of aspect though, he's very quiet, very
yeah.
reserved.
I mean, just to give you a perfect example of Dave, we did the meet and greet the other day, and he was crapping his pants. Like, just standing in front of 20, 30 people. Like, me as well. I really don't like it as well.
Right.
But, like, if you know him, like
doesn't
the way
like
we
group
do,
interaction.
he is the funniest person and
Right.
always just, like,
I've
putting a
always wanted
smile
to catch him on
everyone's
an
face.
interview, and that's never going to happen on an interview because he's just going to shut down.
Oh,
He's
it's
going to
so
be quiet.
crazy. He said that I go, why are you so? He's never, is unsure of his words. He's never looking for things to say.
Right.
Like he's always very
Articulate.
Boom, he's just going for it. And I'm like, what changes when you're in front of people? And he's like, I have this rule in my head: if they could stampede me, then I'm afraid of them. And he's like, so there was like 30 people in the room, 40 people in the room, and he's like, yeah, they could kill me. I'm like, but they're not gonna do that. They want to watch you work out. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we were up here for the meet and greet, and we took a few photos and videos and everything. And watching you guys, when you guys were actually doing the, kind of like introducing yourselves. You had a great speech where you were talking about just the passion involved, and like so many of you have been to different levels of your sports. The grid and both CrossFit, but now coming together. And I mean, I truly think, first of all, I think it's a great name for this team. I mean, it's obviously the name of the CrossFit box, but it's a very dynamic team, and being Team Dynamix, and all you guys kind of coming together. It's and I've seen other teams, judged at the CrossFit Games, been around CrossFit athletes for 7 years, owning a CrossFit box. You can always walk in and see a team and go, oh, yeah, not going to work. I don't care how many superstars you got on it. You can see it. You can see that vibe. You guys have been like days together, and you're vibing, imagine months together.
I will say that is a testament to Justin Cotler.
Yes.
Because, I mean, he hand-selected each athlete. But,
Right.
I mean, we all kind of knew of each other.
Right.
Everybody is, like, besides amazing athlete, just an incredible person.
Yeah.
Every single person on our team, like, has instantaneously become like my best friend. Like
Right.
they're family beyond that family now. So
And don't you think it helps that all you guys are coaches also? I mean, every single one of you athletes is coaches.
Yep.
You guys coach CrossFit. You guys coach all over the place. So you know that role, right? And as long as, and most coaches are generally humble at some point, and you guys are humble yourselves to another coach. It's incredible. So look, guys, I am going to let you guys get back to training.
Awesome.
All right, we're going to let you get back there. But here's the thing. We want to see you guys top of the podium, CrossFit Games. All right? New York, I don't know if I can say this in Dynamix House, but how about holding the Pinnacle Trophy too?
I like that. I like
Cool
that.
deal.
We
All
like
right,
it.
guys.
We like it.
There you go. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. And now,
Clean up your jerks and snatches,
drink your beer in batches.
and always dominate your grid matches.
We'll see you next time.